All right, thanks, guys. Got some lines for Thursday's NBA college basketball and NHL action. It's actually Wednesday night right now, but had some free time. So time is very, very valuable. Time is money in our hobby, myself and you. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it, beginning with the Timberwolves at the Pacers. That's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Indiana. The Pacers open the betting as the 4-point favorite. Total open 221. And since that one opened up, we've seen movement upward on the total. We also seen movement downward when it comes to the spread. That number moved down to 3.5. Total moved up to 221 and a hook. So once again, Indiana open -4, down to -3.5. Total open 221, up to 221 and a hook. And at the moment, Minnesota is plus 145 for some money line cash. Now, Teague is questionable with a knee injury for Minnesota. Not sure if he's going to play Thursday night. Regardless, Minnesota is just 1-5 straight up in their last 6 on the road. The T-Wolves ranked 22nd in road offensive rebounding. They also ranked 29th in defending the three ball. Now, Indiana on the other side, completely different story, totally adjusting well with the loss of Oladipo not too long ago. The Pacers are 8-2 straight up in their last 10. They're also 6-2 against the number in their last 8. Now, they're led by Bogdanovic, who's dropping 17 points per contest. They're also led by Turner, who's scoring 13 points a game on average as well. Turner also is one of the rebounding leaders on the team with 7 boards a game. Indiana's 14-6 against the spread, taking on teams between 450 and 550. They're also covering 73% of their games in the second of a back-to-back. Now, total-wise, Indiana's 9-22 to the over at home. They're also just 36% to the over in the second of a back-to-back. Meanwhile, Minnesota's 2-1 to the under in their last 3. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and take the Indiana Pacers -3 in the under 221.5 in that matchup there. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Thursday's NBA, college basketball, and NHL action. But before we go ahead and move on, I just want to remind you to check me out on my website. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. Memberships begin at just $1.99 per month on that website. There's also plenty of free content there as well, including my records. So you can access that for free right now if you're curious as to how I'm doing on my picks. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take you a couple of seconds to check that out. The link is in the description section below. And if you are a current patron of mine and you are currently watching me right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. You most certainly make it all worth it. For some reason, it looks like our screen's a little crooked today. That's on me. I got to do a better job. Anyway, let's go ahead and move into some more games. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Golden State at Orlando, 7 o'clock tip-off in the Sunshine State. The Warriors open the betting as the 6.5-point favorite. Total open 226 and a hook. And since that one opened up, we're seeing movement toward the under. We're also seeing movement downward on the spread. Right now, Golden State's -6. Total moved down to 226. So once again, the Warriors open 6.5 down to -6. Total open 226.5 down to 226 even. 73% of the consensus is leaning toward Golden State. And at the moment, the Magic are plus 200 for some money line cash. Now, for the Warriors, we have Cousins and Bell both questionable for Thursday night's action. And regardless of if they play or not, the Warriors have still really struggled against the number as of late. And as a matter of fact, they failed to cover in 6 out of their last 7 ball games. Now, Orlando, on the other side, they're led by Vucevic, who's scoring 21 points per contest. Gordon's also scoring 16 a game on average as well. And of course, rebounding is being led by Big Vooch, who's bringing down 12 boards a game. Now, Orlando's 13-6 against the spread in their games that tipped off at the current number. They rank 5th in the NBA in points allowed. Now, total-wise, Orlando's 2-0 to the under in their last 2. Golden State 8-4 to the under in their last dozen away from home. I'm going to lean Orlando +6 as the home dog in the under 226 in that matchup there. Next game, this is going to be an exciting one. I can't wait to cap this game. Cleveland at the New York Knicks, 7:30 tip-off at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks open the betting as the 2.5-point favorite. Total open 216 and a hook. And since the markets opened that one up, we're seeing money on the Knicks in the early going here, unless that's one of those false line moves. Anyway, the Knicks moved up to -3. Total moved up to 217. Once again, New York opened 2.5 up to -3. Total open 216 and a half up to 217. And at the moment, Cleveland's plus $1.25 for some money line cash. Now, here's the big X factor for New York. DeAndre Jordan has already been ruled out with an ankle injury. Hazonia is also out with a leg injury as well for the Knicks. New York ranks dead last in offensive field goal percentage. They're shooting just 43% from the field. The Knicks also rank 29th in defensive rebounding, which is second to last in the association. Now, Cleveland's won 2 out of their last 3 straight up. They're 3-2 against the number in their last 5. They are shooting 36% from beyond the arc, 36% shooting the 3 ball. The Cavs are also ranking 9th in defensive rebounding. Now, Cleveland's led by Kevin Love, who's dropping 18 points per contest. Clarkson's also right behind him with 17 points a game on average. And Tristan Thompson bringing down 11 rebounds per game for Cleveland. And one more thing to note about the Cavaliers, they are covering 67% of their games that tipped off at the current point spread. They are 12-8 against the number, taking on teams under 450. Now, total-wise, the Knicks, they're just 36% of the over in their games at MSG. I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me Cleveland +3 and the under 217 in that matchup there. That's going to be a shoebox bet. We are clearing out the bank account for that one. All right, next game. Sixers at the Thunder, 8 o'clock tip-off at the Chesapeake Energy Center. I always get that mixed up. I think it's Chesapeake Energy Center or Arena. One time I called it the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. But regardless, OKC opened the betting as the 7.5-point favorite. Total 239.5. We're seeing pretty good two-way action on this game. We've seen a little move toward the under. That moved down to 239. So once again, OKC open and remains -7.5. Total open 239.5 down to 239 even. 62% are leaning OKC. 60% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Sixers are plus 275 for some money line cash. Now, for the Sixers, they got 2 big guys that are hurt right now. Boban Marjanovic is out with an ankle injury. Pretty bad injury the other night. And Joel Embiid is still out with that knee injury. Now, the Sixers have failed to cover the number in their last 3 straight. They're also just 3-6 against the spread in their last 9. The Sixers cover just 41% of their games when traveling. They're also 42% ATS, taking on teams over 550. And speaking of which, OKC, they're covering 60% of their games that tipped off at the current number. They're led by Paul George, who's dropping 29 points per contest. Westbrook's right behind him with 23 a game. And then Adams, the big guy, bringing down 9 rebounds on average a game. Now, OKC has been very good at home, 21-8 straight up on their home court. Their offense is putting up 116 points per contest at the Chesapeake Energy Arena. Now, total-wise, OKC's 2-0 to the under in their last 2, 5-2 to the under in their last 7. Meanwhile, Philly's 7-3 to the under in their last 10. They're 67% to the under in their games that tipped off at the current posted total. So with all that in mind, I'm going to make another chalky play. Give me OKC -7 after buying the 0.5 point and the under 239 in that matchup there. Next game, Miami Heat at the Rockets, 8 o'clock tip-off in Houston. The Rockets open 9.5, total open 219. And since that one opened up, we're seeing a slight fade of Houston when it comes to the spread. We're also seeing movement downward on the total. That line moved down to 218.5. Spread moved down to 9 even. So once again, Houston open 9.5 down to -9. Total open 219 down to 218 and a hook. Right now, the Miami Heat are plus 330 for an outright win. Now, if you like Miami in this spot here, it's going to be tough sledding for you. Johnson and Whiteside are both doubtful for Thursday night's action. Winslow and Magruder are also questionable with those bad knees, those knee injuries for Miami as well. Regardless, the Heat have really been struggling as of late. They lost 6 out of their last 7 outright. They're also just 2-9 straight up in their last 11. And they rank last in the association in shooting the 3-ball. Their offense is scoring just 105 points per game on average. Now, Houston on the other side, completely different story. They're averaging 117 points per contest at the Toyota Center. They're also 17-3, 17-13 against the spread on their home court. They're obviously led by James Harden, who's averaging 36 points per contest. Clint Capella is behind him with 17 points per game on average. And Clint Capella bringing down 13 rebounds a game on average. Now, scoring-wise, Houston 61% to the over at home, 63% to the over in their second of a back-to-back. Meanwhile, Miami 6-2 to the over in their second of a back-to-back themselves. So, with all that in mind, another chalky play for me here. I'm going to lean Houston -9, and I'm going to take a rare over for me. I'm going to lean over 218.5 in that matchup there. Holy cow, Brock Page selected an over. All right, next and final game for our NBA slate. It is going to be Jazz at the Nuggies. 10:30 tip-off at Denver. Denver opened 6.5, total open 224. And since that particular game opened up, we're seeing a slight fade of Denver when it comes to the spread. We're also seeing movement downward on the total as well. That line moved down to 223.5, spread down to 6 even. So once again, the Nuggets open 6.5, down to -6, total open 224, down to 223.5. Right now, 60% of the consensus is leaning toward Utah. And at the moment, the Jazz are plus 210 for some money line cash. Now, Denver has been incredible at home. 27-4 straight up on their home court this year. 22-9 against the number in that same category. Maybe that altitude is just throwing everybody's shots off. I don't get it. They've been outstanding at home. And they rank first in defensive rebounding in the NBA. Their defense is allowing 104 points per contest on their home court. They're led by the Joker, Jokic. He's averaging 21 points per contest. Murray's right behind him, averaging 18 a game. And Paul Millsap, an old Millsap sighting. 7 boards a game for old Paul for the Nuggets. Now, Utah, they failed to cover in their last 4 games that tipped off at the current number. They're also just 4-6 against the spread in their second of a back-to-back this season. Utah ranks 26th from the stripe and 21st in defensive in defending the 3-ball on the road. So once again, they are 26th from the stripe and they rank 21st defending the 3-ball on the road. Now, total-wise, Denver 3-0 to the under in their last 3, 5-1 to the under in their last 6. I'm going to lean Denver Nuggets -6 in the under, 223.5 in that matchup there. All right, let's go ahead and slide into some college basketball. We do still have some Wednesday